The Iowa Broadcasters Association presents the 1982 Iowa Boys State Basketball Tournament. From Veterans Auditorium in Des Moines, here is Mark Zelich.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy to be here to bring you 3A basketball. East Waterloo, 20-1, rated number 1 in everybody's poll, all the way around the state of Iowa, taking on Burlington, which is 19-3, but a Burlington ball club that does not come in here in awe of East Waterloo. They're rated number 7 themselves, so they have some pretty good credentials. We had an interesting ball game here in our opener between Des Moines Roosevelt and Sioux City North as we highlight some of the freeloaders here at the tournament. And that ball game found Sioux City North a winner in what was certainly a game that had a lot of fans wondering in the initial stages at least. But as it turned out, Tom Goodman and his Stars won it, and right now he's down courtside with Frosty Mitchell to tell us about it.
We're in the winner's circle right now with Tom Goodman, and believe me, basketball is this man's life. I remember Tom Goodman, 5'9" at Fort Dodge High School, All-State. He wasn't big enough to play at Iowa State, but he captained the darn place anyway. Then the HLV had them in the Class A state tournament, brings North back 3 straight years. Now, if that's not enough, he's going to be going in the Hall of Fame as an individual later this. What if you're in the locker room coaching and can't go in the Hall of Fame, Tom?
I'll be out there. You know, we got a tough ball game coming up, but boy, if that happens, I'll be thrilled about that. I'll be there some way. You know, I'll get it done. Hey,
you always did, Tom. I always told people he's a better baseball player than basketball player. I thought you were a pretty good baseball player.
Yeah, I enjoy baseball probably more in college, I think, than I did in basketball. And yeah, I like to play baseball probably just as much.
Tom, 2 4-letter words got Roosevelt, cold and zone. And I think maybe zone had to do with cold.
Well, you know, last year we played Cedar Rapids, Washington, and we held them to 31 points, you know, and they had a bad shooting night, you know, and everybody said, well, they're cold, you know, and then in that sub-state game that year, we held Fort Dodge to 38 points, and they had shot 29%, and they said they were cold, you know, and that happened about 3-4 times, and our last 3 tournament games this year, we held the opponents in the 30s. So I don't know, you know, if everybody's cold or what when they're coming to play us, but I think it has something to do with our defense.
I think it does. Now, Tom, I wrote you off last November. I followed you, and I saw you lose 3 out of your first 4, and I said, heck, I won't see Tom down at the tournament this year.
Oh, no, I'll tell you what, Frosty, when we lost 3 out of the first 4, I took the guys in the locker room, we had a meeting, and I told them right there, I said, we're going to state tournament. I said, no way you guys are not going to go to the state tournament. We had we lost 5 games in the last minute of play this year. All 5 games right at the end. It was all inexperience. And I just told him, I said, there's no way. We're going, and that's it. And when it comes tournament time, North Tradition will get us there. And the young kids start getting better and better and got more confidence, and we're down here.
Well, you sure are, and you're into the semifinals, and now you match up with either the Burlington Greyhounds or East Waterloo. And I suppose...
Don't say East Waterloo. Oh, man, they are good.
Well, I know, but in this AAA, when you say AAA, you say upset because Waverly Shellrock took out Washington, and there are those that thought your game was an upset.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, that could be. That East Waterloo. Man, I don't know what we're going to do with them, Frosty. What I've heard in the reports and everything, they're fabulous, and they're number 1 in the state. We're just going to try to, you know, play ball. It might be a forfeit tomorrow. We might not show up. Would Bernie like that?
Well, they give all the tickets back.
We'll be there. We'll give it our best shot. Our kids are competitors, and we'll give it the best shot we can tomorrow. We're really thrilled to be here.
Tom, you got to be on an emotional high. Anybody to go into a Hall of Fame of anything, that's got to be important. Which is higher to you right now, though, being in the semifinals or the Hall of Fame?
Oh, I think the Hall of Fame. I think that's a great honor, you know, with Gary Thompson and Murray Weir and Neil Figabank, guys like that, you know. I really feel pretty good about that.
Well, tell me, there's some basketball in your veins. There was a Goodman that made a lot of headlines ahead of you, wasn't there?
Oh, yeah. the old man, you mean? Yeah. He's in the Hall of Fame as far as officials go, and baseball official too. Dad's in the Hall of Fame. So yeah, we've been around basketball a long time in our family.
Connie Goodman at Fort Dodge, which of course is a famous name. You're one of these guys that played for Dad. Was that tough?
No, I didn't. I played for
baseball?
Dutch. I played for Dutch. No, Dutch Huseman was my coach. Dad was just before him. But yeah, I'm glad I didn't. You know, I got a boy coming up now. It's going to be a sophomore next year, and you know, he might have to be up there in the varsity, so I don't know about that. I like that.
Tom, we better let you go get the clipboard. You got some scouting to do.
Oh, I know it. I know. We're in trouble.
That's the man, Tommy Goodman from Sioux City North in the winner's circle. Good luck, Tom.
Okay, thanks, Frosty.
And let's go back to Mark Zellers.
There's one of the most likable coaches you're going to find in the business. That is Tom Goodman, and boy, his ball club in winning had a total of 15 points from Jeff Donaldson. Vince Tillo scored 17 in that ball game. 8 points from Johnny Cochran. Billy Hopper Davis had 5, and 8 for Ernie Winger. We thought we'd bring that scoring recap. For Des Moines Roosevelt, they had a one-man gang. Chester Kluk, who finally fouled out, he had 21 points, and he by far distinguished himself on that ball club. So now it is Burlington and East Waterloo, the Greyhounds against the Trojans. Burlington coming in here with a record of 19-3 and rated number 7. East Waterloo, of course, 20-1. And only lost to Marshalltown. They're ranked number 1 in the state. They have an offensive machine averaging 72 points a ball game. They're number 3 offensive team in 3A in this field. And they're going up against the number 6 offense, which is Burlington, averaging about 59 a game. Defensively, Burlington is the 5th rated team in the tourney. They have 52 points, or giving up 52 a game, and East Waterloo 53. So defensively, they're pretty even. Offensively, the hammer belongs to East Waterloo. Don Gibbs, 12 years at Burlington. He left a year and then came back. This is his second trip with this ball club. He was here in 1980. They lost to Davenport Assumption, and he's back again, hoping for better things this time around. The team has been here 8 times, or the school has, starting from 1927 on. As far as East Waterloo, their 10th time. The last time they were here, they won it under Murray Weir back in '74, a game and a team we recall quite vividly. That was a good ball club and a great win for an outstanding coach and superb basketball player. So they are going to give us, I'm sure, what promises to be an interesting confrontation here. And it's going to be more than interesting to see what Burlington's going to do. They call their offense kind of a yo-yo offense. East Waterloo simply says, hey, we run it, we are quick, and that's all we're about here. And so again, I think we're going to have a little of what we saw in our last game, hopefully not from the standpoint of result in the type of play in the early going, but from the standpoint of East Waterloo really trying to move that ball up and down the 94 feet of this court, and Burlington, of course, trying to change that tempo as much as they can. East Waterloo is a champion coming in, having won the Big 8 championship. Burlington was second in the Mississippi 8. And Frosty's back with us. And Mitch, it's safe to say that both the Mississippi 8 and the Big 8 are pretty classy leagues.
Hey, they really are. History will certainly back us up on that. And East Waterloo comes in with that number 1 rating. Was that Tommy Goodman pumped up?
I'll tell you, I said on if you don't like that guy, you've got a problem. He's something else.
Isn't he?
He's a fun guy.
What a week of highs this must be for him.
Just super.
Boy, there's a couple of freeloaders.
They had just one before. Good to be back.
Those guys wouldn't buy a ticket. I don't care.
Well, I'll tell you, we have had a lot of fun at this tournament series over the years, Mitch, and each and every year you wonder if one can eclipse the other, and somehow it manages to do that for us.
You betcha. And this game coming up, upset has been the name of the game. I mentioned that to Tommy Goodman. Waverly Shellrock pulled the upset last night over Cedar Rapids, Washington. And after watching the last game, I can't really call the upset because I think it was an impressive basketball team. But if you go by the Des Moines Register ratings all season long, it had to be. The North Stars were not rated, and Roosevelt was rated number 8, and most of the season was as high as number 3.
I think a thing to keep in mind, too, going into this ball game, we have a Burlington ball club that reportedly can come from behind. I understand they were down 28-12 in sub-state and still won that ball game.
And won. That's right.
Gosh. Now that takes moxie. And they're going to need all of it here against East Waterloo, because this ball club had to go into 2 overtimes to knock off a Wahlert club that had plenty of credentials.
What a night up at Oldwine that was in that sub-state final. And, you know, we mentioned earlier, some said that the Roosevelt Sioux City North could be the state championship game. There were people back at sub-state that were saying that.
You know, if I may comment, Mitch, the coach at Dubuque Wahlert, Jim McGrath, came from Stevens Point, Wisconsin,
right,
and took over that ball club and won a championship last year. That team that he left is now in the Wisconsin State Championships with a perfect record this season and ranked #1 in the state. So had Jim stayed in Wisconsin or gone to Waterloo, he couldn't lose. He was going to have great teams all along the line, but that program is going to be dynamic at Wahlert. They've got to be very proud. Okay, the fans are very, very much into this one even before we started, as well they might, because we have a team that can't help but feel very, very confident coming in here in East Waterloo. Standing in the wings is a pumped-up Tommy Goodman and that North Ball Club that has tried oh so mightily to win a state championship. This is their 3rd successive try while he's been with the Stars, and he's hoping the 3rd time is the charm. Tom actually had a crack at a championship some years ago at HLV Victor. That didn't turn out, though he did get to the final with an unbeaten ball club.
Mount Vernon and Bob Landis were the ones that bested him.
There's another great guy. You know, I keep saying that, and I hope the fans who listen to this telecast don't think that I'm trying to ingratiate myself with the coaches of the state of Iowa. I am not. I am simply saying you folks should be very, very pleased to have what I think are some of the most outstanding men coaching your young people. We visit with each of these coaches every year, friends, over the phone before we come here. We talk to all 24. Every one of them is extremely gracious to us and kind and helps us and trusts us, gives us information that perhaps you might not ordinarily give to a stranger. And in every instance, Frosty, I'm just tremendously impressed with the caliber of men coaching, and I'm sure you can say that too of the women who do coaching in Iowa who I haven't had a chance to meet. But Mark, these men are truly guys that have me in their corner. They're just great people. You needn't worry about we in Iowa thinking that you might be trying to ingratiate yourself, because none of we in Iowa know what ingratiate means. Okay, thanks, Mitch. All right, we've had the pregame break here. In just a few minutes, we'll be getting back to it and getting to the starting lineups for this ball game. We're going to have a team from East Waterloo that is a veteran ball club. There are 5 seniors that are going to be introduced to you down here. They've been in combat before. They are starters. They're 4 starters back from last year. They have, as far as Coach Steve McGraw's in his 3rd year is concerned, they have 2 of the best guards in the state. Mitch, he makes no bones about that. He says Tyrone Scott and Fred Franklin are it. As far as Burlington is concerned, that too is a veteran ball club for its seniors and the juniors. There's the tournament trail on how the Greyhounds under Don Gibbs got here. Those are good people when you beat Keokuk and Fairfield, and of course that Davenport West outfit was a real methodical basketball team. And for Coach Steve McGraw, golly, 20-1 this year. And if you notice from East Waterloo, Coach McGraw, who came there from Tri-County Thornburg, when you beat Wahlert, you've done a job, and he had to beat 2 hometowners for the 3rd time in the same season in the district. That also is a real tough. All right, with that kind of credential, we can expect these 2 teams to give us a real pounding. We had, as Frosty suggested, a mild upset in that opener with Sioux City North eliminating Des Moines Roosevelt. It would be an upset certainly if Burlington were to do the same to East Waterloo, but the potential is there. Mark, when you say upset at halftime, we're going to talk with Bud Bergman from Waverly Shell Rock in this ball game. He's the man that was the architect of the upset over Cedar Rapids, Washington last night. And he, too, is a high school Hall of Famer from Grundy Center that also played at Iowa State, as did Tom Goodman, and also has a team in the semifinals. So there's a lot of similarity there. Both clubs are back. The Greyhounds, the purple and gray, they'll be in the predominantly purple uniform with the gray piping and numerals. The Trojans of East Waterloo, orange and black are their school colors. They'll be in the predominantly white uniform with the black numerals and orange piping. They're a ball club that's going to show us an awful lot of press here this afternoon, man-to-man defense and a lot of man-to-man press. Burlington should show us a lot of zone and perhaps not as much press as we're going to get from East Waterloo. Although pressing, of course, oftentimes is dependent on what happens in the flow of the game. Sometimes you don't have a choice.
You want to know how to pick a winner out there? You're looking right now at the Greyhounds in dark uniforms, Mark. So far, there's only 4 first-round games in the AAA. So far, in 3 of the 4, the kids in the light-colored suits have won. In AA, the opening round, the kids in the dark suits won all 4.
There is only one person in the state of Iowa that would know that. And fortunately, he's sitting right next to me. As Mitch has always commented to us, there is more than one rating service in the great state of Iowa. The Des Moines Register has its distinguished poll, and AP and UPI have theirs, and it's unanimous as far as East Waterloo is concerned on all of the polls. However, when it comes to Burlington, they are ranked number 6 according to Associated Press. They are 7th in the Register poll. They are number 3 according to United Press International.
Right. The reason we usually go with the Des Moines Register poll, Mark, is they break them down in 3 classes the way they come to tournament, where as AP and UPI do a little combination on the 1As and 2As.
All right. But the ratings, in each instance, we talk to the coaches, we ask them what the ratings mean. They all hold those ratings in perspective, Mitch, but they claim, hey, it's not bad. The kids like to talk about it a little bit. You like to feel you're number 1. I know that's what Coach McGraw told us, and he says it helps. It gives them confidence. We'll be back with the starting lineup in 1 minute after this word from your local station. And now let's go to courtside. Bob Wilson, the introduction of the non-starters for both clubs.
Number 23, Todd Fagan. Number 25, Ossie Wilform. Number 31, Jim Leftwich. Number 33, Pat McCassin. Number 41, Jay Perry. Number 43, Dave Lane. Number 45, John Whalen. And number 53, Jim Myers. The assistant coach for the Greyhounds, Rick Baugh. For the Trojans, number 10 is Joel Elliott. Number 12, Carl Montgomery. Number 20, Lonzo Coleman. Number 22, Mark Crawford. Number 24, Steve Gibbons. Number 30, Harris Caesar. Number 40, Morris Davis. Number 42, Roger Dravis. Number 44, Darrell Caldwell. And number 50, Vince Montgomery. The assistant coach for the Trojans, Charlie Aldrich. And now for your starting lineups. At a forward for Burlington, number 35, Rusty Gibbs. For Waterloo East, number 34 is Cliff Berenobus. Number 51 is Leon Wilson. Number 32 is Tim Moses. At the centers, number 55, Jeff Kirby. Number 52, Jay Williams. At the guards, number 21, Jay Brandt. Number 14, Fred Franklin. Number 15, John Boych. And number 4, Tyrone Scott. The head coach for the Greyhounds of Burlington is Don Gibbs, and for Waterloo East, Steve McGraw. Our officials for the ball game: the referee is Randy Krejci of Cedar Rapids. The umpire, James F. Schneekloth of Cedar Rapids. The auxiliary bench official, Dan Neville of Slater.
Veteran capable ball clubs. That's what we have here. These are senior laden. 5 seniors for East Waterloo, 4 out of the 5 for Burlington. 2 teams who know how to play this game, and they should give us a show here this afternoon.
East Waterloo has won 15 in a row. Burlington has won 5 in a row. Both of them will be well coached, and both of them like to play it physical. We've got two referees out there that like to let him play. Also, Jim Schneekloth, particularly there from Cedar Rapids Kennedy High School, where he's a teacher.
Jumping center, Leon Wilson, the 6'2" junior, the only junior out on the floor right now. He's going up against 6'2" senior Jay Williams for East Waterloo. East Waterloo going to our right, or the East basket. So East is heading. East gets the tip. Beautiful behind the back pass, and Tyrone Scott hits the first basket.
Tim Moses with a nice assist.
So we start in a rush. Into the front court quickly comes Jay Brandt. Giving it to Johnny Boych, B-O-I-C-H, Boych, 6'1" senior, playmaker. The shot attempt is by Wilson.
Hey, we're coming out of the blocks fast on this one.
A little bit different from our preceding game. We're tied. Off and running, and here for that beautiful outside shot is Brett Franklin.
Boy, can he penetrate.
So the two guards, Scott and Franklin, have each pumped in a basket. 4-2 for the second time. East Waterloo by a couple. And Boych into that front court quickly. Drops it on the far side. Well, they lost the handle out of bounds. They're going to give it out of bounds to the Trojans of East Waterloo.
You heard referee Jim Schneekloth say, hey, we're going that way. He's wired for sound, and so is his partner, Mr. Krejci. Here comes Baranovas. Cliff Baranovas, a 6'2" senior, and he travels in the backcourt, so the press bothers a little bit, and the turnover gives the ball to Burlington. The Greyhounds. Don Gibbs, 21 years of coaching. 12 years at Burlington. That's Boych. Rebound battle for, and the follow-up by Jay Brandt. And the rebound comes down to the hands of Jay Williams. This is Fred Franklin. Partially blocked, nicely by Wilson. Franklin picks it up. Leon Wilson saved two.
They come up on top to Jay Williams. Williams with the rebound, and he is fouled. Jay Brandt picks up his first personal foul.
Kids call him Hook, and that's why the referee blew the whistle. He hooked him. You'll see it right here. Watch him come up. Yep, hooked him right around the arm.
And that's the first foul of the ball game. Tyrone Scott will trigger it in, giving it to his opposite number at guard, Fred Franklin. These are the two nifty guards that the coach feels he has. Williams, who plays inside, can come outside. That's Franklin on the shot attempt. And the rebound to Jay Brandt. Brandt with that left thigh taped up.
They harass you. They don't just press you.
You know it. That's Boych out there, and he is being harassed by Franklin.
Franklin's right inside.
Oh, beautiful pass underneath to Brandt.
Back door.
Boych gives it to Brandt, and Brandt gets his first scoring of the afternoon. So we're tied at 4-all. Second time we've been tied. It's going to be a charging foul
on the shooter.
Jay Williams, his first.
And he came up dry to boot. Didn't get the basket.
Right. Each team now has a personal.
Take a look at it as he's coming down. He took off that time, and no question.
Great position by Rusty Gibbs.
Didn't Rusty hold that well? Rusty's dad, of course, is the coach, Don Gibbs, who played at Iowa Wesleyan.
Nice move and a nice shot by Johnny Boych. The 6'1" senior, averaging 8 a game, hits his first basket, and it's 6-2 as Burlington takes over the lead for the first time. Each has led the other by 2. It could be tied again. It's not. On the missed shot by Baranovas. That's Tyrone Scott.
Wasn't that nifty?
Scrambling for the ball, came up with it. Scott whirls around and dumps it. He's averaging 18. He has 4. Backcourt foul on Franklin. That on Fred is his first. Second team foul.
Oh, when they pick you up in that full court pressure, they pick you up.
These people better be in shape if they're going to go like this all afternoon.
Second team foul on the East Waterloo Trojans.
Out of bounds, handling it is Leon Wilson. Giving it to John Boych, who finds Gibbs. Gibbs makes the move. Fouled on his way in. The shot would not have counted. Baranovas is guilty of the personal, his first.
This time we'll be shooting. That's Coach Don Gibbs you're looking at right there. Don, second trip to the state tournament. Coached at Harmony of Farmington and at South Tama before going to Burlington.
No free throw. That was before the shot. So the ball fired and the rebound missed and picked off by East Waterloo. They come down in a rush. Baranovas with the right hand. A little bit long. Tyrone Scott.
Well, he was tempted.
You know it. He had the trigger cocked. Baranovas looking in. They come outside to Franklin. Franklin goes inside. Partially blocked and taken away. You saw the shot attempt by Tim Moses, but they drag it away from him, and quickly Jay Brandt comes up court. Brandt may try it, 11.5 feet away. No good air ball. The follow-up is put up by Kirby.
Jay Brandt's father is Don Brandt of KBUR Radio in Burlington. Reminiscent, 2 years ago when Carl Gonder was in this tournament, and his dad, Ron Gonder, from WMT, was broadcasting.
Scott with the left hand. The foul pushing underneath is going to be whistled against Wilson. Kevin Wilson of Burlington picks up his initial personal foul.
These referees drew some pretty tough duty in this ball game. These kids like to play.
Burlington out in front by a couple. The second time they've led by 2. Baranobis, 19-footer. The rebound is swept off by Johnny Boych. Comes down in the rush. They give it to Rusty Gibbs. The left hand, partially blocked and fouled.
Could have been goaltending also, couldn't it?
Could have been close.
He went right, looked like he pinned the ball against the glass as it was going up, but the foul had been called first. You take a look at it, see what you think. Foul before, there's the ball being pinned back against the glass.
You notice he used his left hand. I don't think he's a natural left-hander.
Nope.
So he's trying to use his body to block it off. So Gibbs will go to the line. He's a 76%er, an excellent free throw shooter, as Mitch suggested, the coach's son, and it's a super association, Frosty. He says they don't take it home with them, and they're enjoying all of it.
He's the leading scorer and leading rebounder on it. Good thing they don't, because they like to go quail hunting together.
That's 2 out of 2 for Rusty Gibbs, his first scoring, and it's 10-6, a 4-point lead. That's the biggest lead of the afternoon by either club. Tyrone Scott goes inside. Nothing happens. They come out. Scott fires it. Oh, what a towering rebound by Leon Wilson.
And East Waterloo just can't buy a bucket right now.
And he came up out of the toaster and cleared it beautifully. Gives it off to Jay Brandt. Roger Drewis is in the lineup, 6'3" junior for East Waterloo. There's the shot attempt. Brandt in a lot of traffic got it off and parked it. He's averaging 6.5. He has 4 here this afternoon. They've doubled the score. They lead by 6. Franklin handling it, gives it to Tyrone Scott. Baranobis. He's been trying all afternoon, but he can't find it. He was fouled that time by Wilson, who has picked up his second personal.
Cliff Baranobis, Berinobis. Obviously, they think that he can hit those because coach hasn't made a move, but he's not drawing them today.
66%er from the line, Mitch. He's Hawaiian in ancestry.
Basketball is his only sport. Had an older sister that played basketball. He's got a younger brother named Ed who's on the sophomore team.
Okay, here's number 11 coming in, and that is Dan Ducky Robinson. Ducky Robinson, a 5'9" junior, comes in for Burlington.
And Leon Wilson is the man to set down.
Baranobis, 1 out of 2 from the line. Free throw hauled in niftily by Johnny Boych. Boych and Brandt have played well so far for Burlington here in the opening frame. We have 3:38 left to go. They drop it on the near side. That's Jay Brandt.
That was the look from the blimp there just a moment ago. Straight down.
3 field goals for Brandt. 14-7 by 7, the biggest lead. Baranobis trying to narrow it. Cannot. Here's the race for the ball. And it is hustled in very nicely by Jeff Kirby. Long pass down to Gibbs. He stretched out all of it to get it. And he finds it. Rusty Gibbs.
That one the hard way, and East Waterloo wants timeout.
Timeout on the floor. Now this word from your local station. Burlington out rebounding East Waterloo, 7-6 here in the early going. Has the lead by a score of 16-7. That's a 9-point spread, their biggest lead. East Waterloo jumped out early with 2 two-point leads, but from there on in it's been Burlington. So it's been interesting so far. A long way to go yet this afternoon, but a fine 3A second game, Mitch.
Murray Weir, the athletic director at East Des Moines, from the Hall of Fame here in Iowa, is not here today. He's out in Colorado, but if they can win, he's going to get back in time to see him play.
Tyrone Scott giving it to Baranobis. Looking into Roger Drewis, can't get it in there. Scott gets it back. He'll try it about 12.5 feet. And the rebound comes off to Jay Brandt. Brandt's had his share here in the early going of those defensive rebounds. Brandt has the ball slapped out of his hands, picked up by Williams, down court to Fred Franklin. And Franklin picks up his second field goal, and it's 16-9. This is Ducky Robinson, the 5'9" junior. Extreme quickness. And a good passer bringing it up and being hounded, as you can see, by Franklin, and having a little bit of a problem finding the handle, but does now. Franklin picks him up again, working against that man. Oh, bad pass. Picked off nicely, down court and turned to Franklin, and he has a total of 6.
Hey, when they break, they come out of there.
Indeed. Here's Brandt up quickly, 16-11. The spread is 5. There's the right-handed shot attempt by Johnny Boych. And the foul is going to be whistled against Burlington.
Ducky Robinson there is 5'9", which is not very big for AAA. Actually, in AA, Davis County plays a kid named Randy Rubin, who's only 5'4".
We saw him play, and he has nothing to apologize for.
You betcha.
I hear he plays football.
That's right. He plays a wide receiver and a defensive back. The program lists him at 105, but he told me 115.
You're not too small if you don't want to be too small. There's the shot attempt by the nifty lefty, Jerome Scott.
That's a roll of 6 straight for East Waterloo.
And they've narrowed it. The spread now is 3. Remember, it was 9, 16-13. In the front court is Boych. He gives it to Ducky Robinson. In turn to Gibbs. Jay Brandt with a move, but he can't go through. Tries his luck. And Brandt comes up with his 4th field goal. He's only averaging 6.5 on the season. He has 8 here this afternoon.
That's a big bucket. Came at a big time for Burlington.
We're down to 1:15 opening frame. This is Franklin trying to move in. 14-foot baseliner. Oh, that was a nifty shot.
Got the bounce.
8 points for Fred Franklin. He's averaging 13.5. 18-15. She's down to 3 again. As Boych brings it up, and he gets fouled. You saw the plea by Jay Williams saying, hey, he was giving me the elbow, ref.
That puts Burlington on the line, Mark. It'll be 1 and maybe now the rest of the first half for the Greyhounds.
Jay Williams picks up his 2nd personal foul, and the 77% free throw shooter goes to the line in Johnny Boych.
Johnny was a sophomore in that 1980 tournament team that Don Gibbs brought up here. It was his bucket with 3 seconds left that gave Burlington their only lead of the game in the sub-state. Mark, they never led Burlington or West Davenport until his shot with 3 seconds left. They won it 33-32.
Maurice Davis, a 6'1" senior, has just checked in for East Waterloo. Boyce's rebound taken by Jerome Scott. He lost the handle. He was traveling even before he lost the ball. It's 19-15 with under a minute left to go in the opening quarter, and an exciting quarter it's been. Burlington has the hammer and the ball. Here's the full court press.
No signals from the bench, like maybe playing for one shot or anything like that. They're in their offense.
That's Boych clearing it into the front court to Robinson. Drops it for Gibbs. He moves nicely around, puts it up with the right hand. This time nothing happens. The rebound slapped around. It comes up to Boych. They go back in. Brandt. This time it falls. Boy, Brandt's playing tough. He has 10.
And you got to have a little bit of luck going in with you in this game, too.
21-15. It's up to 6 now. Burlington's led by 9. It was down to 3. Very early in the quarter, East led by a couple on 2 occasions. On the arm, Robinson.
Right.
Boy, he's picked up some fouls.
And it'll be 2 shots, a foul in the active shooting,
Right.
but East Waterloo on that one would have gone to the line the rest of the half anyway.
That's 2 on Robinson. So here is a fine shooter in his own right, a 62%er from the free throw line, Tyrone Scott. Leads the ball club in assists as well, so he's unselfish as well as an excellent scorer. 21-16. The southpaw connects on 2. He has a total of 8. The difference is 4. We're down to 17. Robinson in the front court. Fires it along the baseline. The attempt by Kirby is not good. 9 seconds left, plenty of time. Scott wheels it down beautifully, laid up and in beautifully by Maurice Davis.
And they can hit you with a bunch.
Boy, they came flying down. Davis at the buzzer. That's the end of the first quarter with the score. Burlington 21, East Waterloo 19. We'll be back after this word from your local station.
Well, if you want to watch a foot race, watch this instant replay coming down. Maurice Davis is going to come up on the left side, lay it up, though, with the wrong hand. Puts it up with the right hand, but he got by the guard, got the 2 points, and that closes it down to 21-19. Burlington over East Waterloo as Mark Zelich leads you into quarter number 2.
Scott and Franklin each with 8 apiece to pace East in the opening quarter. 10 for Jay Brandt for Burlington. 3/4 of that first quarter belonged to Burlington. They led by as much as 9. They wind it up 21-19. Baranobas handling it for the Trojans. Scott with that lefty.
And you got a whole new ball game now.
10 points for Tyrone Scott. And as Mitch said, even Stephen, 21 all. Fourth time we've been tied. We're tied at 2, 4, and 6. Now at 21. Boych brings it into the front court to Wilson. To Kirby, knocked out of his hands and out of bounds. They will re-award the ball to Burlington.
That's referee Jim Schneekloth from Cedar Rapids, vice principal at Kennedy High School.
All right, they pass the ball in, lost. Picked up by Franklin. Perfect. No harm, no foul.
No whistle.
Yep. 10 points for Franklin, the 2 guards. And there is a 23-21 lead, a 2-point lead. The foul is going to be called. Nope, it's a violation. No, it is a foul. They called it against Boych.
Player control on this one, Mark, as you take a look at John Boych, trying to dribble the ball on Baranobas. He knocked him from central Iowa to western Iowa there on that map.
Right out of Des Moines. Scott taking the shot, beautiful, pretty pass underneath, but it doesn't go. On the shot attempt by Moses, and coming up with it is Brandt. Here comes Burlington, the Greyhounds. The shot by Boych. Over the back, Rusty Gibbs. And that on Gibbs is personal foul number 1.
Rusty's certainly an excellent sport. Puts that hand up and trots down to the other end of the court. Well, Baranobas hasn't had a lot of luck from the field. We'll see how he goes from the charity stripe.
Well, coach says he's a streak shooter, Mitch. When they're going, man, he just keeps pouring them. But as you said, he just hasn't had much luck from the field here this afternoon. He has tried pretty consistently, but hasn't been able to put it in.
66% of the season.
All right, 2 out of 3 from the free throw line, so he's doing pretty well there. That's a 3-point, check it, that's a 2-point lead. 3rd time they've had it. Make it a 3-point lead, their biggest lead of the afternoon, 24-21. A 3-point spread by East, which has trailed by 9. Boych handling, top of the key, working against that man-to-man. Looking for somebody, finds Wilson. Partially blocked on the hand, yeah, Moses picks up a personal foul. That's his 2nd.
Tim Moses got up in the air pretty well to make that block.
He did, because Wilson's a leaper. Wilson can get up too. He can slam dunk. He started as a sophomore and 67% from the field, and you can hear the official saying he gets 2.
Would have gotten 2 anyway.
24-22. East Waterloo has a change as Roger Dravis comes, Dravis, D-R-E-W-E-S, Dravis. Roger Dravis comes in on the lineup, a 6'3" junior.
Big guy at the line had 6 slam dunks during the regular season. He can get up.
2 out of 2 for Leon Wilson. The number 2 scorer on this ball club has a total of 4. 24-23, the margin is 1. 2nd quarter, 6.5 left to go. Williams handling it, gives it to Tyrone Scott. Baranobas keeps on trying. It won't happen. Williams gets the rebound, comes up to Tyrone Scott. He tries to move it in. Nice pass underneath to Dravis, but he's wide of the mark. Gibbs on the rebound. And Jay Brandt moves it up court for Burlington. Gives it to Kirby. Tries to move it down. That'll be kicking. They'll re-award the ball to the Greyhounds. 19-3. 7th ranked in the state. 2nd place in the Mississippi 8. Up against number 1. And that's always a challenge. That should get your juices flowing if nothing does.
People are wondering, the one game that East Waterloo lost this year was to Marshalltown. At Marshalltown.
Gibbs with a left hand. The follow-up is by Boych, slapped out of bounds. We're going to give the ball out of bounds to Burlington. They're letting them play underneath for us.
Boy, they're letting them have at it.
We bring you the action at floor level. Now we go upstairs. There's the coach's son. And that's going to be a foul. You saw Franklin go up in the air and he looked for a sky hook. He knew he was going to come down on top of Kirby, but there was no way he could prevent it.
What is it the coach always says? Don't leave your feet.
So that's 2 on Franklin. So let's take a look now at Big Jeff Kirby. They list him at 200, 6'3".
Plans to go to Northeast Missouri State.
Leon Wilson. recapturing the missed free throw. Gives the ball out to Johnny Boych. Slapped out of his hands. Ooh, Scott almost had a theft.
Burlington
Gibbs.
Be shooting for the lead whenever they shoot, if they get the shot.
24-23. East is on the fat end of that narrow margin. This is Gibbs, about 13 feet. We have a foul being whistled. Baranobis, his second personal foul. 2 free throws to Rusty Gibbs, who has made 2 out of 2 in his previous attempts.
Rusty did a good job to draw that particular foul.
He'd moved in. We're under 5.5. 5:28 left to play in the second period. Nip and tuck, hammer and tong. The Southpaw Canucks.
Wants to go to college and wants to study business or accounting.
He was hurt in the district, but he played.
Mark, he was born hurt. Before kindergarten, they discovered he had Perthes disease. We'll talk about that when we get a chance.
All right. Well, we were tied at 24 all. That was our 5th tie, but now it's 25-24 as Gibbs is successful on his second free throw, and Burlington has recaptured the lead. Counting down, coming up now, 5 minutes left in the first half. They go inside to Dravis. The big guy tries to move, and let's see. He was fouled. He was. Jeff Kirby picks up his first personal foul. Here the official giving the call 1-1. So here is Dravis on the line.
Big block right there, but puts it on the floor and the foul as he put it on.
57%er. D-R-E-W-E-S is the spelling. Dravis is the pronunciation. And the rebound goes to Leon Wilson. Here come the Greyhounds with under 5 left to play in the half. They have the ball and the lead stolen away beautifully by Scott. That's Scott going down. The shot rebounded niftily by Jay Brent.
Scott was hearing the feet steps of Rusty Gibbs right behind him.
Boych on the rebound. I stand corrected. Boych took the rebound and he brings it down. Boy, Scott missed an easy one. Block. Gibbs has a shot blocked by Jay Williams. It's picked up by Johnny Boych. Gibbs again. Wilson.
55.
Somebody pushing underneath.
You go shoot.
That was Jeff Kirby.
Okay.
His second personal foul.
And Jay Williams was the man with all the emotion.
He was ecstatic over that call. He thought he was the one being pushed, I guess.
Yep. Apparently there's been some body banging going on in there, and it always matters who gets caught.
Now, it was Dravis who got the push, and Dravis will go to the line. He was there a moment ago and missed. So he'll try again under the same circumstances, the 1-1.
Trying to tie it up.
Roger Dravis, number 2 rebounder on his ball club. There it is. So we are knotted at 25 all. 6 time.
The man you're not seeing in that picture leaning back was the head coach, Steve McGraw.
One more time. Perfect. So Dravis is 2 out of 3. He hit the winning field goal with 2 seconds to go in the sub-state in that overtime.
Right. Against Dubuque Waller, he tipped it in. He's the man. Didn't start the ball game, but boy, he was king tut at the end.
And he gives his club the lead here by 1 as Boych tries to put his team back. Cannot. Rebound Baranobis. East Waterloo heading east here at Des Moines. Scott with a pass down. The shot attempt, no good by Crawford. And the rebound is picked off by Leon Wilson.
Boy, you'll never have to worry about a shot clock with these teams.
Stolen again. This is Williams. Jay Williams, his first scoring of the afternoon. He's averaging 9. He gets his first 2. It's 28-25. 3:49 left to go. East is out in the lead. Boych passing the ball here nicely. And Kirby on the miss. Kirby on the follow-up. Over the back, Dravis.
Boy, was Kirby working hard in there.
Shoot 2, man. Line him up.
Dravis's first personal foul.
Thank you.
Kirby's a big man, and he was really working. We've got timeout being taken by the Greyhounds.
That's right. Timeout on the court. Now this word from your local station.
2 shots. Got him. Yeah, up here. Up here. Yeah, you're clean on
Going
top.
with time back in here at Betts Auditorium at Des Moines. Burlington has out-rebounded East Waterloo by an 18-12 margin here in the early going. Burlington also has the dubious distinction leading in turnovers. There's the veteran coach, Don Gibbs, and an outstanding one at that.
He was a heck of a ball player at Iowa Wesleyan in his own right.
The first of 2 by Kirby, a 60% shooter. He has made 1 out of 2 now. He anchors that zone defense for Burlington.
Jeff's a B student at Burlington, headed for Northeast Missouri State College.
2 big free throws, 28-27. East Waterloo leading by 3 a moment ago. The second time it had that spread, its biggest. This is Tyrone Scott handling the ball out in front, gives it to Franklin. Tries to go inside. Boy, you saw Kirby saw that pass coming 2 days ago and picked it off. And a foul on Franklin in the backcourt, reaching in. He has 3 personal fouls.
And Jeff Kirby's hot at the free throw line right now.
Got a 1-and-1.
Watch, you can see him reach in. Jeff Kirby goes to put the ball on the floor, but the reach in, that was the foul. Hard for me to picture a guy that big, that quick.
We have Maurice Davis coming back into the lineup.
Man, 1-and-1 bonus.
In turn, Franklin goes out with those 3 personal fouls. Obviously, McGraw wants to save him.
Kirby's over 200 pounds on 6'3".
Playing this one.
3 out of 3. The last 3 he's made is 3 out of 4 for the game.
We start
Number 3 rebounder in this tournament coming in. Boy, he's tough from the line. 29-28. Burlington back out in front. We have been tied 7 times. Nifty game, Tyrone Scott. Look out. Scott has his 12th point. 5 field goals, 2 free throws.
Puts that up there like a frozen rope, but it goes right through.
30-29. East takes over by 1. Boych into the front court quickly. Gives it to Wilson. You saw that 15-footer fall short. Rebound Scott, who's a beautiful passer. He puts it up. It's put up too hard on the shot attempt by Crawford. That cauldron boils over as it's put up by Davis, tipped up by Travis, no good. And the foul underneath is going to be called on Jeff Kirby. That is his 3rd.
Well, that probably could have been called on any one of many. It just depends on
Blue, that was a tip. Bonus.
a push, apparently, from the signal, and you heard the referee.
So, and it was on the tip, so it means there won't be 2 free throws. It'll be the 1-and-1. And it'll be Maurice Davis who will be going to the line. Here's Ducky Robinson back in as they've got to pull Kirby. He has 3 personals.
When Mark Crawford suffered an injury earlier in the year, I think Maurice Davis came off the bench to play for him.
Play guard or forward.
1-1.
His first free throw of the afternoon.
On the season, he's about 54%.
Total of 3 points. 31-29. The spread is 2, and if he gets it, it'll be 3 for the 3rd time, their biggest lead. Averaging 4.5 points a ball game. Not this time. The positioning goes to Gibbs. He gets the rebound. It stays at 31-29. We're down to 2.5 to play in the opening half. Boych at the free throw line. Robinson. He had to put an arch on it because of that height. Oh, a towering rebound by Roger Davis. Playing great in the reserve role. Fine pass by Scott. Nifty layup by Davis.
That was some kind of an assist by Tyrone Scott on the bounce dribble pass.
5 points for Davis, 33-29. It's 4, the biggest lead ever in this ball game by East Waterloo, which was down by 9. Rusty Gibbs giving it over to Kevin Wilson. He wins the battle for the ball as it was trying to be stolen.
5-on-4.
You know it, but they can't get it in. Robinson will try. Over the outstretched hands of Gibbs to Baranovas. A long pass up court, intercepted by Boych. Burlington's ball, 1:45 left. First half, gives it out to Brandt. Burlington trailing by 4. Wilson, Gibbs, against a man-on-man. That's what they've seen most of the afternoon from East Waterloo. Wilson, a little bit short, the rebound battle for, and coming up with the basketball is Mark Crawford. Gives it down to Scott. Slapped out of his hands, but picked up by Baranovas. Boych had larceny in his heart, but Baranovas picked up the ball. Beautiful pass by Scott underneath to Davis. Scott has been superb on his passing and the assists. Davis has 7 points, 35-29. It's a 6-point lead by East Waterloo, their biggest. Robinson goes into Wilson. Up with the right hand, partially blocked by Davis. And the foul is going to be whistled on Baranovas. That is his 3rd.
3-4 white.
Baranovas goes to the bench immediately with 55 seconds left. Jay Williams comes in. Baranovas did not foul out. He has 3 personals. There's a good look at Williams. We have Johnny Boych, 77% free throw shooter on the line.
You got a minute.
Okay. In the lineup, O.C. Wilform. Wilform is a 5'9" junior, number 25 for Burlington. He's instant motion, very quick. Deutsch exhaling. 2 out of 3 from the line this afternoon. He has a total of 4 points.
Make sure it leaves his hand. 1.
The admonition from the official, of course, making sure they don't enter the lane until the ball leaves his hand. That new rule this year. So Deutsch, 3 out of 4 from the line, and it's 35-31. 49 seconds left to play in the half. East with the ball and the lead. Williams handling it over to Davis. That's Williams on the shot attempt. 4 for Williams on a couple of field goals. 37-31, they build it up to 6 again. The Trojans, second time they've had that margin. Brandt in the front court being dogged by Tyrone Scott. Gives it to Kevin Wilson, looks inside, nobody there. 25, and now apparently they're going to take it down to 1. 2-1-2 zone. They'll go against a zone here in the final seconds, thrown up by East Waterloo. They're going to force him to shoot from the outside if they can. Slapped out of bounds. No, save. Yeah, he stepped out of bounds. Williams stepped out of bounds trying to save it. And as a result, there was a foul called at the opposite end, as you saw, called on O.C. Wilform. However, that foul will not stand because play was dead on the out-of-bounds call down here at the west end of the court.
When I blew my whistle, there was 8 seconds on the clock. No foul down there. No foul. That's right. Want to put it on, but I don't think we lost that much. I don't think we lost that much. There was at least
What'd you have for time? What'd you have for time that didn't get done there? I have no idea on the time, how much time it took to get up here. We're racing the 25 foul.
We didn't lose 6 seconds. No, what did we lose?
We only lost about 3 at the most because I was looking at mid-court and 2 seconds to go and nothing down here. So there couldn't have been more than about 5 seconds off, and I don't know the exact time.
So is that
Let's
the
make
half?
it 5 then.
Wait.
8 seconds? 8? We put on 8.
What you hear, of course, is the discussion of how much time remaining was there on the clock when the out-of-bounds infraction occurred. And there's a difference of opinion, and they are trying honestly to arrive at a consensus. It would seem that they're going to go for 8 seconds. It seems they're going to go for 8 seconds. The foul was committed afterward. Now here's our floor level, our camera crew giving you that great shot. Out of bounds is the call on Jay Williams. I don't know. It looked like a pretty good save from here.
We're going with it white out.
But it was called out of bounds, so it'll be out of bounds. Burlington's basketball, and they're going to put 8 seconds back on the clock. There you have it. That means that since the ball is in the front court, Burlington, of course, has an excellent opportunity here to score. The ball passed in, the shot immediately. He hurried it, taken off by Williams. Quickly down into the hands of Crawford. Puts it up to Davis. Davis scores at the buzzer. Davis with a buzzer shot. That's the end of the first half with the score. East Waterloo 37, Burlington 31. We'll be back after this word from your local station. Well, as you can see, we have to correct some misinformation that we gave you right at the buzzer ended. We said it was 37-31. It is 39-31 East Waterloo. Davis's 2 points have not been registered on the scoreboard at the time that we read it. And he hit that right at the buzzer. It did count, and as a result, the spread is 8, the biggest lead of the ball game for East Waterloo, which has trailed by as much as 9. Deutsch had the ball inbounds for Burlington with 8 seconds left. He hurried his shot, and as a result, the rebound went to East Waterloo, and they came up with 2. We'll be back at Veterans Auditorium in a moment after this pause for station identification. In the afternoon, before an outstanding crowd for this 3A semifinal, East Waterloo leading 39-21 after outscoring Burlington 20-10 in the second frame. Burlington led 21-19 at the end of the first quarter. We actually were tied at 28 all, but from that time on, 39-31. It's been East Waterloo. We'll be back at Veterans Auditorium after this word from your local station.
Cedar Rapids Washington was a good basketball team, and I know everybody favored Cedar Rapids, and no, I think they feel it's an upset. First half, you know, we struggled, and the second half we came out and played some pretty good basketball.
You're darn near to AA school, aren't you? You're not very big in that AAA.
No, we're the number 64 out of 64. I guess we got 12 more students, and Walk-On, who's the biggest 2A school.
Well, Coach, you were 8 down at halftime. You come on to win. What did you tell those kids at halftime?
Well, Frosty, we really didn't change much. We just felt that we had to get a little bit more aggressive defensively, and offensively we were nervous, we were scared, we were kind of dribbling the ball to each other rather than passing it. And I told them at halftime we just had to pass the ball a little bit faster, get the ball around the perimeter faster, and we'd get better shots. And we had to take away their second and third shot, and I think we did that the second half.
Well, you can't rest on that one too long. You've got Davenport Assumption coming up next in the semifinals. I'm sure you got to look at them.
They're a good ball club, there's no doubt about it. They were ranked number 1 most of the year until the last few weeks when they ranked East Waterloo. And I watched them play the first half last night, and they've got good personnel, and they're a good basketball team, but everybody's a good basketball team when you get down here in 3A. There's no doubt about it.
Well, a little while ago I was talking with winning coach Tom Goodman. It just dawned on me. He's going into the Hall of Fame this year. He was a basketball star at Iowa State. You and he got a lot in common. You started Iowa State, and you're already in the Hall of Fame from Grundy Center, aren't you?
Yes, that was 2 years ago that I was inducted into the Hall of Fame as a player. You
and Tom got a lot in common in case you'd meet up.
Yes, we would have. We both played at Iowa State, I guess, and I just like to have that opportunity to play him, you know, in the finals championship game Saturday night.
That's where you'd have to meet. But your club had a lot of momentum during the season. Then right at the end, you picked up some losses. What got it back for you?
Well, we had a 12-3 record going, and then we had some sickness. We had 2 of our starters sick, and Craig Werdinger had a pulled muscle in the back of his knee that didn't take him out. People didn't realize that he was hurt. But we lost our last 3 ball games of the season, and luckily they got healthy, and we've already been coming on strong in the tournament.
But we're looking forward to showing your team to the state of Iowa tomorrow. Good luck.
Thank you, Frosty.
Head coach Bud Bergman from Waverly Shell Rock. Let's go back right now to Mark Sellis.
All right, Mitch, thank you kindly. Both clubs are back on the playing court. And we have just noticed something interesting that we had not observed during the second quarter of play, and that is the fact that the Greyhounds did not score from the field in the entire second quarter. Their only scoring came as a result of free throws. And they were 0 from 14 after shooting 56%, 9 out of 16 in the first quarter. What an interesting turn of events. It's 30 for the game, 9 out of 30 shots for 30%. Meanwhile, East Waterloo had 8 out of 19 for 42% in the first quarter, and they trailed, as you remember, 21-19, but they come on like gangbusters in that second quarter, hitting 8 out of 16, as I said, while Burlington did not score a field goal, and as a result, they have almost 46% for the game, 16 out of 35, and quite clearly, that's why they're out in front here, 39-31 by 8 at intermission. East Waterloo is even and Steven in rebounds with Burlington. They each have 23. Turnovers are fair to Midland. 6 turnovers for East Waterloo, 8 for Burlington. Burlington's hit 7 out of 11 free throws in this ball game. Okay, we have some first half highlights for you, and you're going to see Tyrone Scott with some beautiful playing insofar as his assists are concerned. He has scored a dozen points here in the opening half. There's a pass down, and here is Scott with the left hand scoring, coming off of the tip. East Waterloo gets a couple. Here's the feed going inside, and this is Jay Brandt for Burlington taking the pass from his opposite numbered guard, Boych. Now we have Brandt feeding Boych. And there's that score by Brandt. Coming back now to East Waterloo. This is Franklin with the jump shot from the baseline. He catches it beautifully. That was a nifty. We'll be back with the start of the second half after this word from your local station. Moses, he tried to pass beautifully, but they have the violation. Jay Williams took the pass, but they were parked in that lane too long. East Waterloo by 8 as we get underway in the second half. Burlington held to without a field goal, 10 free throws in the second quarter, after having led by as many as 9 in the first quarter. So each team has had a pretty hefty lead over the other. East Waterloo was able to surmount the lead that Burlington had. Let's see if the Greyhounds can do the same. That's Kirby. He draws iron, but that's all. Williams on the rebound, down to Franklin. No sweat. That's a dozen for Franklin. Scott and Franklin each have 12. And let's see, we have a timeout being called by Burlington. We do. Now, this word from your local station. Burlington coach Don Gibbs calling on all of his 21 years of experience, telling his ball club exactly what he wants them to do. He doesn't like this turn of events. They're down now by 10. That's the biggest deficit that either team has had to work from. And as a result, the Greyhounds right now are going to try and battle back into it.
East Waterloo is not an easy team to play catch-up against either.
I can believe that. That was a tab pass and 10 underneath for Brandt, slapped away by Williams. They come down to Scott. That's the second time Scott's missed a layup. That's going to be an offensive foul. Kirby just could not control his motion. Fell forward and committed his fourth personal foul. Player control. There's Steve McGraw, the youngest coach in the 3A field at 35 years of age.
When Steve McGraw was at Tri-County, the girls coach there was Paul Bullock. He's now at Waukee, and both of them this year were in the state tournaments at different schools.
Scott missing, Williams on the follow-up, and he is fouled by Kirby, who's gone the distance. We have 5 for Kirby. We'll see if that's correct.
There's another look at it, Mark.
Okay, going up with the shot, as you saw, was Moses, and they call it on Kirby, who was fouled out. You see some of the sportsmanship as Moses goes over. He was the one fouled. That's Franklin. Kirby, kind of disconsolate, walks off. Coach Don Gibbs greets him, and that for Kirby is his career, unless, of course, his ball club can come back against what, as Mitch said, is a very tough team to come back against.
Tim Moses, who'll be going to the line, is the youngest of the Moses brothers. And, of course, anybody in Iowa probably remembers the great recruiting battle between Iowa and Iowa State for a tailback named Jerry Moses some years ago. Johnny Majors was the coach at Iowa State. Ray Nagel was the coach at the University of Iowa. Jerry went to Iowa State and never really happened after an injury, as great as people thought. He was a fantastic high school football player.
John Whalen, W-H-A-L-E-N, a 6'3" sophomore, into the lineup replacing Kirby. Here's Moses on the line. And the rebound taken off by Wilson. Moses is looking for his first scoring of this ball game, by the way. Averaging 8 points a game on this season. Right now his club is leading by 12, the biggest lead of the afternoon. That's Brandt working very hard against that sticky man-to-man defense. Man, they're on your uniform.
And if Burlington ever needed a bucket, they need it now.
Yep, they get it over to Gibbs.
Look at that defense.
Come out to Boych. That's Whalen. The shot blocked very nicely by Williams. Going down is Franklin. He has 14 points.
And as we've seen repeatedly, they turn defense into offense.
They're tough. 14 points down, Burlington. Boych has the ball. They try to get something going. That's Gibbs with a left hand.
Good effort.
Rusty working hard to get to 2, and he gets it. He has a total of 8. Down quickly, Franklin gives it to Moses, and his first score of the afternoon. Moses has his first 2. 47-33, that 14-point lead for the second time. Burlington on the offense. Heading east of Des Moines, we pick up Boych, who drops it for Wilson. The shot attempt by Brandt, partially blocked, slapped out of bounds by Moses. They'll give the ball back to Burlington. We have a change for East Waterloo, and that is Tyrone Scott coming back in, and Franklin goes out. Scott not only a superb shot, but he's excellent when it comes to assists. A great passer. In the traffic, it's Brandt giving it to Boych on the far side. Looks like a 2-1-2, maybe a 2-3 zone that they're working against now. So they're both man-to-man and zone. Brandt, Baranovas trying to corral it. It goes out of bounds. They're going to award the ball out of bounds to Burlington.
Baranovas was the man that had the last mitt on it out there.
Gibbs, end line, front court. East end of the court to Boych. Top of the key, back to Boych. Again, the zone. 2-3. Either man-to-man or zone, they played both equally well. Tough ball club. Looking inside, gets it into Gibbs, taking advantage of his height. A little bit strong, Baranovas. And Scott with a left hand into the east court for Waterloo East. Baranovas with the right hand. He hasn't hit one all afternoon. The rebound battle for Baranovas picks it up and brings it out to Williams. They'll try again with 4:24 left in the third.
Mark, you know he must be able to, or Coach McGraw wouldn't let him keep firing.
Exactly. As I said, he's a streak shooter, Mitch, if he can hit it. The hip or the leg by Leon Wilson on the drive on Baranovas, and that on Wilson is his third personal foul.
And the third team foul this half on the Burlington Greyhounds. East Waterloo hasn't picked up a foul yet. Everything going East's way. Ever since the latter stages of the second quarter, it was tied at 28 all, and the half ended at 39-31. That's Crawford on the near side to Scott. He tries it, no good. That's Davis. Well, he got up.
Boy, and Maurice Davis, he has played sensationally in a reserve role. He had 9 points in that first half, 7 of them in that big second quarter. He has 11, and he's only averaging 4. So this guy has played a ton here this afternoon. That 16-point lead, the biggest.
He's listed as 6 foot tall, and he had a hand up over the iron that time.
Boy, he came up. Slapped out of bounds by Davis. They'll re-award the ball to Burlington. East Waterloo trying to deliver the death blow here in the third period. Boych handling it, gives it to Whalen. They keep looking inside, but that's always plucked up from the outside. Wilson, no way. Whalen on the rebound. They knock it out of his hands, and that fouled him. Let's see who it's on. Looks like it's on Tyrone Scott. Scott grabbed him on the hand, and he picks up his initial personal foul.
Take a look at this tip in. This guy that tips this in is going to be 6 foot tall, Davis, and you're going to see a guy on the replay here get up. Well, maybe you won't from this camera angle, but there you saw the hand up over the iron, and he's listed 6 foot even.
Superb effort. All right, here's Whalen, the 6'3" sophomore. He replaced Kirby, 54% shooter from the line. His first action of the ball game.
As East Waterloo's got firepower, they've been over 90 points 4 times this year. The highest, 96 against Waterloo Columbus.
Whalen gets 1 out of 2, 49-34, 15-point lead.
Guess they had 96 against Ottumwa too, for that matter.
You see Scott directing traffic. Their 74 team won it all under Murray Weir. They, of course, would like to do it again. There's that assist to Dravis. Wow. You saw Scott penetrate and shovel it underneath to Dravis, and Dravis picks up his 4th point, his first basket.
No way he could get that ball through there.
17-point spread, biggest lead of the afternoon. East Waterloo having all its own way here in the second half. Whalen working against Dravis, gets by him. Was there a reach in? There was by Dravis. He got him on the way in, no basket.
Okay.
2 on Roger Dravis.
This ball game still has a long ways to go, but if East Waterloo should maintain the lead or win, they're going to play a Sioux City North team that put up a very good zone against Des Moines Roosevelt. And some of the things East is doing right now, they won't be able to do against the zone, particularly that one of Tommy Goodman's.
That's going to be a clash. And I agree with you. It would appear that that's going to be the pairing unless Burlington can repeat its action in the sub-state. We told you they were down 26-12. That's far different than it is now, but it shows you it's a club that can come back. Gibbs tries, doesn't happen. Boy, you saw Williams come up high after it. Gives it off to Franklin, and East Waterloo controls. Pass down to Dravis with a right hand.
That pass had a hum on it, too. He zinged that one.
19-point lead. East Waterloo.
Carl Montgomery, I believe, was the man that rifled that pass down.
2:25 left to play. Slapped out of the hands, but Scott slapped his arm in doing so. So Tyrone Scott has his 2nd personal foul.
Out of bounds, man.
Take a look at this, and you'll see the foul.
Straight up with the hands now. Don't reach across.
There was the reach from the far side, Mitch.
And you heard the referee telling the kids, straight up with the hands now. Quit reaching across.
Down to 2:20 as Boych handles it. Gives it to Gibbs. Gibbs is fouled by Davis. Boy, this Davis has played himself a ball game. That's his first personal.
He's a young man possessed right now. He's just all over the place.
Guard or forward, plays football, and as I said, he's had 81 points, I guess, on the season coming in. Used in spot rolls, but boy, he found his spot here today, especially in that second frame.
Next foul on East Waterloo, though, puts the Greyhounds at the line the rest of the way.
And right now they need anything they can get.
In bunches.
That's Gibbs going over the top of Davis. It doesn't happen. And you saw Jay Williams.
Now
I'm up after it, and he was fouled by Jay Brandt, his second personal foul.
And the fourth team foul of this half on Burlington.
Out of bounds.
And let me tell you, this Williamsons can sky.
Starting to use a lot of people. They're running hard. This is Mark Crawford back in.
All right. That's Crawford giving the ball to Davis, who reciprocates. He's picked up by Boych.
Those guys can motor.
That was intended for Davis. It was kicked. It'll give the ball out of bounds to East Waterloo. Under 2 minutes left to go. We're still in the third, 23-34. 19-point lead, East Waterloo. Its biggest margin. Go inside to Dravis, and let's see, the 3-second violation. Dravis was in that lane. Also was Darrell Caldwell, the 6'3" junior.
Dan Ducky Robinson working his way back in off of the bench.
Hold your spot now, don't you?
For Burlington.
Ozzie Wilform. Ozzie's coming to the guard. I don't believe Ozzie's been in. Has he? 5'9"?
Yes, he has. He had one brief appearance earlier. Mitch? It's natural to call him Ozzie, but it is the pronunciation is Ossie.
Right.
This is Gibbs. Whalen. Robinson. Wilform. Slapped away, picked up by Davis. Watch the show. 14-footer. No way. A rebound is going to be called on Mark Crawford.
So we'll have a shooter.
Boy, I'll tell you, when they go to the bucket, it's like a mouse to a cat.
Watch him come down. He's going to go behind the back. Isn't that fancy right there, huh?
Working hard. Now you'll see Crawford come in.
Yep. And Ossie's going to be the shooter at the line.
Okay, let's take a look at Mr. Wilform, 5'9" junior. Looking for his first scoring here of the afternoon.
Coach Don Gibbs calls this kid instant quickness.
And Ossie will get another crack at it.
I'm sure Don over there is hurting right now, but he's telling himself 4 of his top 8 are coming back next year. And not only that, Mark, but the sophomore team at Burlington this year was 15-3 and tied for the conference title.
53-36. Dravis trying to get it in. Rusty Gibbs digs it away. 17-point spread, has been as much as 19. East Waterloo enjoying it. Robinson handling the ball. Giving it to Wilson. And let's see, a knee. Yeah, they're going to call it on Davis. Maurice Davis, his second personal foul.
Well, Maurice is getting into the box score quite a bit here in the third quarter, about every way you can.
He has been active, to say the least.
Burlington is the largest school in this year's state tournament. Greyhounds have 1,406 students. 701 of those happen to be boys. That's a lot to pick from.
Leon Wilson. And that for Leon is his first scoring of the second half. 3 out of 3 free throws. He has a total of 5 points. He's averaging 13. So they've done a pretty good job on Leon Wilson. 53-38, down to 15. We're down to 52 seconds. You saw the move. Franklin. Fred Franklin, coast to coast. 16 points for Franklin. Build it up to 17 again. As Robinson handles the ball, drops it baseline to Gibbs. Up with that left hand. It doesn't happen. Whalen tried to tip it. No way. Dravis takes it. Gives it to Franklin. About a 19.5 to 20-foot shot, and the rebound is out of bounds in favor of Burlington. And they'll take it out in the person of Robinson. 20 seconds left in the third.
This Burlington outfit only lost 3 ball games this year, Mark. 2 of them were to Davenport Assumption, which is still in this tournament. So they're a good outfit. They can come back.
Assumption will be going up against Waverly Shellrock, Mitch, as you pointed out with your guest, in a semifinal game.
Pretty determined sounding guy, wasn't he?
He sure was. They dig it away from Robinson. Thrown away at the buzzer, and that's the end of the third quarter with the score. East Waterloo 55, Burlington 38. We'll be back after this word from your local station. Okay, Scott and Baranobas,
both of them.
Ready, gentlemen?
It is difficult to imagine, but Burlington has managed just one field goal in the last 2 quarters of play. They did not have one in the second quarter. They have picked only one in the third. That was by Rusty Gibbs, and obviously they paid the price for it here, trailing 55-38. Boy, that's been stellar defense, Mitch.
Because they shot 48% for the season against tough basketball teams, so you know there's something wrong with that defense. There's something good about that defense.
Boy.
Right out here, 25.
The foul on the way in, and they're going to whistle it against O.C. Wilform. That on Wilform is his first personal foul.
Tyrone had just checked in there at the quarter, and he's already at the line.
Along with Cliff Baranobas. In that lineup, we also have Moses and Williams.
First team, all Big 8, this young man with a left-handed shot.
So Scott does not get the free throw. And the rebound goes to Ducky Robbins. Trouble in the backcourt, Scott all over him.
Boy, got those Houdini hands.
I'll tell you. The shot attempt by Wilform, the attempted tip by Whalen, taken off by Williams, who has distinguished himself on the boards. The errant pass is picked off by Wilform, snapped away by Baranobas. That's Scott feeding Baranobas out of bounds in favor of East Waterloo.
Baranobas hit that deck pretty hard that time.
He did.
They were setting up, Scott was setting up the high alley-oop for the slam dunk, but there was a body in the way.
Scott will take it out of bounds, end line front court. Now they're going to wipe up the floor a little bit. Baranobas' sweat. 7:22 left to play. 55-38 is our spread.
These two referees, Schneekloff and Krejci, have earned theirs here today. These two fellows did an experiment for the High School Athletic Association a couple of years ago. They wore an odometer, and it determined that over the season they averaged 2.5 miles a ball game in high school, but this court is 10 feet longer every time they go up and down than the courts on which they did the survey.
Very few people in the state of Iowa would know that, but my buddy knows that. 2.5 miles, that's interesting.
Per ball game.
You would think it might be a little farther, wouldn't you? Stolen away by Robinson. Carelessly handled out there by Franklin. Robinson all the way for his first score of the ball game.
Boy,
2 points.
Burlington needed that.
15-point difference. East Waterloo outscored Burlington 16-7 in that third quarter.
You know the strange thing, Burlington scored 33 in the sub-state and won.
Franklin with a nice move. Out of bounds, off of apparently Robbins. They're going to give the ball back to Franklin of East Waterloo. He'll take it out, holding up 2 fingers, denoting the offensive set. 6:40 left to play in the ball game. A number 2 means that Scott shoots. The rebound taken off by Whalen. Burlington has lost its center, Jeff Kirby, earlier on 5 personal fouls. They've been playing without him for a while. Whalen has replaced him. Wilson dropping it for Wilform against that 2-1-2. Apparently Burlington's in no hurry. And now we have a timeout being called by Burlington. Now this word from your local station. There are the teams remaining. Those lights denote the teams left in this tournament. The flashing lights denote the 2 teams that are in conflict right now. And that conflict so far is being resolved in favor of East Waterloo by a 55-40 margin. Burlington came out with all guns firing in the opening quarter and led 21-19, but they ran out of ammunition.
Mark, the blinking light of Waterloo was up in northeast Iowa at Blackhawk County. The blinking light for Burlington was down in southeast Iowa in Des Moines County. There were 13 lights. After this ball game, there will be 12. That means we're halfway done.
That's Rusty Gibbs going up for the shot attempt. Not good. Williams, another great effort over to front, over to Baranobas. He blows it. Scott on the follow-up. No good.
That's a lot of action.
In about a tenth of a second, wasn't it? Man, they come flying at you. So fast that time they couldn't come up with the two. Will form, no good on the 22-footer. Whalen rips it loose. He tries to go up, and they'll call the foul on Williams. This Jay Williams does not score much. He's averaging 9, and he has only 4 today, but I'll tell you, he has played a significant role on the defensive boards. He has been a superb rebounder here so far this afternoon.
That was Don Gibbs, the coach you were looking at. He has 5 children. One of them, Rusty's on this ball club. His daughter Angie goes to the other high school in Burlington, Notre Dame.
Here's Whalen getting a pair, the first of which is not good, so he's hit 1 out of 3. He's a 54%er. Baseball pitcher, takes part in track.
This kid's learned a lot of basketball in here today when he came in.
You bet. The rebound off to Williams, who in turn gives it to Scott. That left hand goes into the east court. They go inside to Moses. That's Scott and Franklin. Quite a guard combination. 18 points for Fred Franklin. He's been tough. He's averaging 13 and a half. Slapped out of the hands of Robinson, 57-40. The spread is 17, has been 19. East Waterloo all the way. Under 5 left to go in this ball game. The winner will meet Sioux City North. Nice pass to Gibbs. As I said before, that orange has a slippery peel and out of bounds.
While you're talking about orange, you keep that one referee keeps yelling blue ball. And that looks awful purple, that blue to me.
Baranobas. Franklin underneath. Scott, I think he may have traveled.
Yep. He did, because he was coming down the high wire in the back door there, and he had to get that little half step to stay in bounds.
So it'll go out of bounds to Burlington. The press in the back court. It's kind of a lackadaisical affair, because when East Waterloo wants to press you. Oh, Franklin stealing it beautifully. Which is an embarrassment, of course, to Robinson. 59-40 by 19 for the second time, their biggest lead. That'll be a foul on Baranobas.
Franklin, who made that last steal against Mason City this year, Mark, had 9 steals and 18 points.
Well, I'll tell you, the steals are an important category for East Waterloo.
The breakaways are a big part of their offense.
They take a great deal of pride in the amount of steals, and as Mitch pointed out, there are several of them that distinguish themselves with that defense on those steals. That's Gibbs getting a free throw. He has a total of 9 points, only 2 of those from the field.
He's the young man I mentioned that before kindergarten. It was discovered he had Perthes disease. That's a disease of the hip joint. He was on crutches for 2.5 years and never had to have corrective surgery. It took care of itself. And here he is playing in the state tournament.
Halfway through the fourth quarter, Burlington's managed 4 points in this quarter. Franklin. He's smoking. 22 points for Fred Franklin. He was a 3-year starter at Waterloo Columbus.
Waterloo Columbus before he moved over.
Nice farm system. That's Will Form giving it to Robinson. Timed it very well. And Ducky Robinson gets his second basket.
He was in there with the big boys, too.
61-44. The long pass down. It was saved by Moses from going out of bounds. Picked up by Williams. He'll try it about a 12-footer. Gets his own rebound. He can sky. And he is fouled by Gibbs. That's 2 on Rusty Gibbs.
And he's played a lot of basketball out there and a lot of combat to only have 2 personal fouls.
As I said, Williams has played tough. Been tough on the boards. Quietly gone about his business. He has dominated the defensive boards.
He's a great tailback on their football team, but got hurt during the football season and finally got well enough to play basketball.
So, a 56% shooter from the free throw line, which is not particularly noteworthy. Misses his first attempt here this afternoon, but his team is right now fat and sassy, 61-44.
East Waterloo is the poorest free-throwing team to come into the AAA tournament. They came in at team 56.2. Burlington was 67%.
Williams with his first free throw and 5th point of the day. 62-44. 18 has been 19 3 times. Moses on the steal, behind the back pass to Franklin. A foul on Moses after the pass, a charge. And that on Tim Moses is his 3rd personal foul.
So what would you like me to ask Coach Steve McGraw after this ball game? Look at this with our high view camera. Wasn't that a clean pick? But he's still going to get a foul.
Right. Beautiful pass and then the jam. Yep. And he gave him a good shot too. I think
yes, he did.
Wasn't going to back off on the block.
I guess I better ask Steve McGraw if this was a good performance.
Well, if he thinks it's not a particularly good performance,
he will scare.
At least on defense, he's going to scare about half the people in this state. Yeah.
You bet. Baranobis is out of there.
Yep. 5 personal fouls for Cliff Baranobis. He fouls out with a total of 2 points, both of them free throws. He's usually averaging 8. He did quite a bit of gunning throughout this game, but he just couldn't put it down. So Baranobis will have another chance in the semifinal against North. Meanwhile, his teammates still have 3:28 left here. We have looks like Davis coming back in, Maurice Davis.
East Waterloo's blown people out before, Mark. Their margin of victory this year was 18.8 points per game. That's an average of almost winning by 20 per game. Burlington averaged winning by 7.2.
2 shots.
Taking it nice and easy.
It gets tougher.
Yeah. All right, this is Wilson. Wilson has tried. Good job rebounding, but he's found it tough to put the ball in the hole here today. Misses both free throws, the ball out of bounds in favor of Burlington. 4 out of 6 from the line for Wilson here this afternoon. He has a total of 6 points. His only basket came in the first quarter. They just haven't been able to score field goals. Robinson. The rebound taken off by Davis. Up to Franklin. Gives it to Scott. To Franklin. To Scott. Nope. Scott. Nope. And Gibbs.
Your coach should probably tell you 1 too many passes.
Over to Robinson. Nice move by Dan Robinson. He has a total of 6. His 3rd field goal.
Well, Burlington taking a little bit of insult out of the injury right now.
16-point difference, 62-46. Scott in the front court to Davis. 2:50 to play in our ball game.
And they pulled him way out to the center line.
The issue here is no longer in doubt. That pass into Williams. Picked off by Wilform. O.C. Wilform gives it on the far side to Wilson. Baseline to Robinson. Right on. Nice movement. Fine passing that time. 62-48.
Burlington doing a little run and gun of their own.
You bet. They were down by as much as 19. They're down now by 14. That's Scott. Can't put it down. The rebound by Wilform. No foul as the ball comes up. Whalen picks it up. He's traveling.
Yep, when that second foot came up, had to be.
Some of the officials in the crowd disagree, but the ball will go over to East Waterloo.
Yep, he couldn't keep dribbling, and that second sneaker came up.
Taking it out will be Jay Williams. And this is Franklin.
So East Waterloo against North of Sioux City could be a wing-ding of a thing.
Right on. Williams. Moses.
Got his
Williams. And a foul underneath that's going to be on Whalen. That's his first. Williams, of course, gets the basket.
Fouls on 4-5.
He has a total of 7. And we'll have a chance to add 1 more point to that. We've got a change coming in for East Waterloo. Mark Crawford has been in the lineup before.
Man, 1 only. Be ready.
What would you guess? Steve McGraw goes about 8 deep, doesn't he? He's been running in at least that many, in and out.
He can go 8 or 9. He's got good balance, a good ball club. Credit Williams with 8. 65-48 is built up to 17 again. It was down to 14 a moment ago. Looked like Burlington might have a little bit of a run going, but time now is such a massive factor in their hopes that there just isn't any hope. Beautiful work underneath, even in a hopeless cause. O.C. Wilform with his first basket. You saw the little guy work hard and come up with it. 65-50. That will be against Will Form, and that is OC's second personal foul.
Fouls on 2-5.
So we will have, with 1:29 left, on the line, none other than Maurice Davis, who came in a reserve role here this afternoon. Coach McGraw. And Davis has sparkled. 11 points. He's had some great assists, some fine rebounds. 1 out of 2 from the free throw line. Great rebound by Whalen on the missed shot. Gives it to Robinson. We're down to 1:20 and counting. Almost dug away. It is dug away. Here's a goal rush. That's Crawford. Mark Crawford with his first basket. 67-50. 1:06 left to go. They still try to get more. Try to steal it away. That's Gibbs. 10-second violation, and on the turnover, East Waterloo gets the ball. Here coming back into the lineup is Roger Dravis. Dravis has played tough. Number 42. As you see Williams go to the bench. Williams' rebounding was the big key. And certainly part of the reason for this East win here. As we have hands being shaken now as the starters leave the ball game and the reserves start to come in. Pick them up for you as quickly as we can. Dave Lane is in, a 6'4" junior for Burlington. Number 43. Also in the lineup is Jay Perry, a 6'2" senior. Pick up some others for you. Todd Fagan, number 23. That's Fagan reaching in as Scott comes down the lane. Gives to Dravis. Missed the shot. Will jump it up. Jump will be between Dave Lane, the 6'4" junior, just came into the ball game for Burlington, and Roger Dravis, the 6'3" junior.
Okay, all set.
Down to 52 seconds left. 21-footer by Scott. Doesn't go. Follow-up is perfect by Darrell Caldwell. That is Caldwell's first basket of the day. Caldwell's had some good games for East Waterloo over the season. 69-50. The spread is 19 for, I believe, the third time. They're going to whistle that foul against East Waterloo's Maurice Davis. That's his third. Davis over to the bench, shaking hands with Coach Don Gibbs and some of the Greyhounds. Number 12 is in the lineup. Replacing him, that is Carl Montgomery, a 5'7" junior, has checked in. Carl Montgomery. Fagan, Perry, Lane in the lineup right now for Burlington. Jim Leftwich, a 6'1" junior, also in the lineup. Now for East Waterloo, number 30. That's Harris Caesar, 6'1" senior. And here on the line for Burlington, attempting the shot, is Jay Perry. So Perry will get another. 69-51. You hear the instructions. So Perry in the state tournament at least gets in the book. 69-52, down to 17, 30 seconds left to play. Montgomery handling it on the far side. It is stolen away, picked up on there by Todd Fagan. Lost out of bounds. They're going to give the ball out of bounds to East Waterloo. Some more changes, and we'll try to give these to you. It's important for these people to get in, of course, and to be recognized. Steve Gibbons, a 5'9" junior, coming in for East Waterloo. We have number 53, Jimmy Myers, coming in. 6'3" sophomore for Burlington. Also in number 5, Melvin Osborne, a 5'9" sophomore.
Can't run with this.
Joel Elliott, a 5'7" junior, just checked in for East Waterloo. Man, you need a scorecard. Vince Montgomery is in, a 6' junior for East Waterloo. He's number 50.
Clear away.
Being flanked as they get the ball in. Moving it with it is Carl Montgomery. The shot attempt put up by Caesar. Tie up the net. They clear it. Caesar's First basket, of course, 14 seconds left, 71-52. 19-point spread for the fourth time. The biggest lead. Bringing it up is Osborne with a left hand, almost dug away. Osborne tries the shot. Doesn't happen. The rebound is cleared off in the backcourt. Given in turn to Caesar, and that's it. It's all over. That's the end of the ball game with the score. East Waterloo 71, Burlington 52, and we'll be back after this word from your local station. East Waterloo has moved into the semifinal of 3A. It'll take on Sioux City North Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock. That winner to meet the winner of the Davenport Assumption Waverly Shell Rock game in the 3A title. Out here this afternoon, East Waterloo defense after the first quarter on, they dominated this ball game and held Burlington to just a minimum of field goals and turned them off and won the ball game going away by 19. We'll be back at Veterans Auditorium after this word from your local station. East Waterloo had its share of contributors here this afternoon in his big win. Tyrone Scott for his assists. He had 12 points. Fred Franklin, his brilliant shooting, he had 22. Jay Williams, his outstanding rebounding, he had 8. Roger Davis in reserve was tough. He had 6. And, of course, Maurice Davis in reserve scored 11. A key second quarter for him when they broke it open. We hope you've enjoyed this telecast from the 1982 Iowa Boys State High School Basketball Tournament. This is Mark Zelich from Veterans Auditorium in Des Moines. And we'll be right back.